Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, Adam McDaniel here at JeepRecyclers.com. We're taking a minute to answer a customer question here regarding the vent window rivet squeezer that I recommend here. So I just want to show it, but also just give a little bit of data on it on how to make it work better for your needs, or at least specifically for vent windows. So just so you know, this tool, you can use it for a couple other things. I actually use it to restore the HVAC under the dash unit and a couple other things. So it's a really handy little tool there. How the tool works itself. Real easy. This basically holds it in. You have a lock position, and real simple here, guys. So there's two dies that are attached to it, and the die that comes with it is this bottom one. It comes with two of these, and it does not come with this one. I actually have a link in the description of one of our videos of these products right here. So it doesn't come with this one. It does come with this one, and I'm going off memory, and I think it comes with one of these. So just giving you heads up, what I did, or I should say what I recommend, is definitely pick up this guy, okay? And it'll be in the link. It's just, one of the dies here. So definitely pick this guy up, because you're going to need this to help mushroom those rivets here, okay? So there's this. I also recommend picking up, let's see, this as an example was really good, or I should say helpful, because I went down to the hardware store and just bought a bunch of replacements for different lengths and sizes here, okay? So this by itself can screw into here and give you more room. So for example, on this part here, when you're riveting this to the channel itself, you're gonna rivet one, and unfortunately you're gonna have to bend it a little bit and get this guy in there as tight as you possibly can to get that next rivet right there. And that's where this guy comes into play. And then you switch back over to this or this, depending on which one that you're doing here, okay? Now, as far as the rivet squeezer itself, all right, it actually twists to elongate and tighten to shorten, okay? So just so you know, you have some play with this and some adjustment. However, when you're unscrewing this, just don't go too far. It pops out, and it's one of the funnest games you can ever play, trying to get it to reattach down here, because there's a spring down here that it'll just really give you a freaking awesome day if you have to do that. So just be really careful, don't unscrew it too much. All right, so there are some mods that I did to make this a little bit more user-friendly for the vent window itself. Starting with the rivet squeezer itself, I actually shaved it down, the width of it, and this part's a little overkill and not completely necessary. I did that because when I take out these, I call them the chucks, but basically the handle that the vent window handle hooks onto, I take these out sometimes if they're too pitted or just too ugly in general, so I'll replace it. And this right here, you'll need it to go all the way down, and it needs to be a little bit thinner to fit down in there, so you may not need to do that. I do, however, file down the sides of these guys, okay? And this one, let's see, I basically square it. I still have one round side, but I square it so that it can fit in there, and some of these corners a little bit easier. So for example, when we are putting this one on, and you're going to squeeze this corner right here, it fits in here a little bit nicer by having a squared edge right here. Here, come on in. So it fits in here a little nicer. And the goal is to be able to get your rivet to sit flush in this right here, okay? So the rivet to sit flush in there so that you can actually push up. And if this is all the way out, so if this has a little bit of size to it, if it comes out a little bit, it brings out the bottom part too. And that means if you don't have it shaved, you have to kind of offset it, and that just kind of gives you an ugly rivet head. It's not the end of the world, and it actually will hold, but to have it flush and really attractive looking, I basically just shave these edges right here. And so it all matches up, and it makes life a lot easier, to be honest with you. I have even thought about shaving down the head of the rivet gun itself, or I should say rivet squeezer itself, but haven't done that yet. So, and so far the integrity of any of these tools or implements that I'm using have not been compromised by shaving them. As far as how I shave them, I've used a couple different ways. I've used a grinding stone where I basically just hold it on and do that back and forth. They actually grind down pretty easily. They are a stronger metal, so it surprises me that they do, but they do grind down relatively flush. The best way that I have found is basically just using a vise and just putting it in, finding it, making it as even as you possibly can, and then from there either use like something like an air grinder or something just to flush it out, but just don't hammer down too fast, because if you do, you can probably guess what happens. But all you're looking to do is just square it up as much as you can to allow it to fit into these different corners here. Okay, now coming back to the rivet gun itself, I really like that these guys pop out and essentially switch. Let's see what I do with it. You can switch sides. So in other words, if you're putting rivets onto a part of your channel and you have it set up this way and you need to flip it around to not break glass or something like that, you can basically just flip it around and now go the opposite side. Okay, so for example, putting this rivet in right here, I like to have this somewhat open like this, while Shelby actually holds it open, and then I take the gun, or I should say the squeezer, and hold it upside down like this and squeeze it in. Okay, so and I don't always do like one big heavy crush. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just get it set in there a little bit, and then I'll come back and inspect it, and we'll do a full video on this. I know this is very brief, but I just crush it in a little bit just to make sure I have everything lined up and everything how I want it to be. And then I basically come back in and squeeze a little bit more at a time to get that final setting that I want there. Okay, so there's that. Little tip. So oftentimes when you go to push this thing in, let's say you're getting this guy in here and you're going to squeeze this rivet in, and you're either doing it by yourself or what have you, if you hang it off the table and get yourself in position and basically squeeze it in this way, and then from there you can either loosen or tighten it up. Let me get my lefty loosey righty tighty. Basically just bring it out a little bit so it shortens that gap so you can go a little further up. So if you have issues with hand strength, or I've dislocated my hand, broken it, I've done all kinds of stupid stuff with my hand. So oftentimes I have a difficult time getting my hand to work the way I want it to. So what I'll do is I'll open this up, get a nice just kind of starting squeeze, and then what I'll do is I'll raise this up even higher so that I can go in and get a nice finish squeeze on that. So it gets a nice flush finish on that. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So that's it. All right. Again, all these tools and so forth will be in the description. So just feel free to check it out. If you have any more questions, just reach out. Remember, we're always here to help. All right. Thanks again, guys. Take care.